It's a miracle. The Saudi king gives special gift to Ivanka Trump. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates will reportedly pledge $100 million toward a fund for women entrepreneurs that was built by Ivanka Trump. The Wall Street Journal reported that the World Bank's Women Entrepreneurs Fund, an idea that the president's elder daughter proposed, will work to help women in the Middle East who want to start their own businesses. The donation from Saudi Arabia and the UAE was set to be announced at a Sunday event with President Trump's daughter, according to the report. The first daughter spoke with Saudi women who are civil leaders, businesswomen and elected government officials during the president's first foreign trip. The State Department has noted problems with human rights in Saudi Arabia, including citizens' lack of the ability and legal means to choose their government, restrictions on universal rights, such as freedom of expression, including on the internet, and the freedoms of assembly, association, movement, and religion, and pervasive gender discrimination and lack of equal rights that affected most aspects of women's lives, The Washington Post reported. In the conservative Islamic country, women are not allowed to drive and require permission from a male guardian to travel in public. Women are also required to cover themselves in public. What do you think about this? Comment below. Trump wins. Moments ago Saudi Arabia announced $40 billion investment in U.S. private equity firm Blackstone Group, in partnership with Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, announced that they would commit $40 billion to invest in infrastructure projects, mainly in the U.S. Blackstone, co-founded by Trump supporter Steven Schwarzman, entered an non-binding agreement with Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, to move forward with this initiative, The Hill reported. Saudi Arabia's PIF had agreed to put down $20 billion for the project, while the rest of the money would come from outside investors. Although Blackstone says the fund has been negotiated between the firms for the past year, the partnership is non-binding, which means that there is not a formal structure for the fund yet and the firms are still discussing certain aspects of the agreement, Forbes reported. Blackstone and PIF each gave a vote of confidence to the new partnership. This potential investment reflects our positive views around the ambitious infrastructure initiatives being undertaken in the United States as announced by President Trump, PIF Managing Director Yasser Al-Rumayyan said in a statement. This will create well-paying American jobs and will lay the foundation for stronger long-term economic growth, Blackstone President Hamilton James said. The partnership between the U.S. and Saudi Arabian companies comes as President Trump is visiting Saudi Arabia as the initial stop of his first trip abroad as president. Trump has already signed a series of agreements with Saudi King Salman solidifying their military and economic partnerships on his first full day in the country. Liberals peddle fake news about Trump bowing to King, but look what this new video angle shows. The liberal mainstream media has been in hyperdrive ever since Donald Trump was elected as president. These liberal moonbits have been doing everything they can to discredit Trump's presidency. As we all know, these liberal twits have been pushing ridiculous fake news stories all over the media. Every day for the past few months, Huffington Post, The New York Times, and the drive-by media outlets have been running hit pieces against President Trump. These hit pieces are designed to cause more division in the country and distract the American people from the real villains in the government. It is obvious that the establishment and liberals across the country are in full panic mode by the way they have been acting. They all are aware that if Trump really begins to drain the swamp, they will all be out of a job. So, instead of them shaping up and doing what is right for the American people, they rather cause more division and strife by peddling fake news stories. This weekend, President Trump traveled to Saudi Arabia in an effort to open a line of communication up with King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. Trump and King Al Saud were able to reach an agreement that some say will weaken terrorist groups in the area. However, instead of the mainstream media reporting on the possible good that came from this meeting, they went into full tabloid mode. The mainstream media has been reporting that President Trump bowed to the Saudi king, but when you look at this video's angle, it shows something different. Watch the video here. That does not look like a bow to me at all. You see, President Trump was being given an award, and since he is 6 foot 2 inches, he had to bend over to receive the medallion. Right before he fully stands up, he seems to hesitate a bit before fully straightening his body out. I have watched the video several times, and every time I watch it I do not think Trump bowed at all. However, the left-wing media does not see it that way and has jumped on this as another way to slam the president. Of course, far-left director Michael Moore sees this opportunity to mock President Trump by calling bending over a curtsy. But, that is not all. CNN also wrote about the moment and did their best to compare Trump to Barack Obama's controversial bow to the Saudi king. Here is an excerpt from our favorite purveyor of fake news, CNN. During the first stop on his inaugural trip abroad, President Donald Trump, like presidents before him, was honored with Saudi Arabia's highest civilian honor, the Order of Abdulaziz Al Saud. But no sooner had the 6 foot 2 inch president leaned in so that the much shorter Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud could place the medal around his neck than the politically tinged questions started flying. Was it a bow? A curtsy? Some awkward combination thereof? Whatever the answer, it was, perhaps, the one muted note of social media discord in an otherwise controversy-free first day of travel. That's in part because in 2012, after flirting with the idea of running for president, Trump sharply criticized President Barack Obama for bowing to then Saudi King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz when he got his award a few years earlier. Obama's press secretary, Robert Gibbs, denied at the time of the visit that 6 feet 1 inch Obama had bowed, saying the president bent over, to shake with both hands. But Trump questioned that on Twitter during the 2012 campaign. Do we still want a president who bows to the Saudis? He asked. If you do not remember that moment, let me refresh your memory on Obama's ass-kissing bow. Back in 2009, Barack Obama visited Saudi Arabia's King Abdullah, during which Obama appeared to bow to the king while shaking his hand. After watching both these videos, it is clear to me Trump did not bow at all to the Saudi king. However, it is obvious that Obama did bow, which showed tremendous weakness by the President of the United States. It is obvious that the left is grasping at straws by peddling this non-story in order to create more division among the American people. They know that President Trump is a strong leader and is not one to mess around fault with. They will continue to do whatever they can to discredit President Trump, which means we need to push harder to make sure the truth is out there. Share this story so that people can see that President Trump did not bow, but Barack Hussein Obama clearly did. President Trump makes 4 words announcement in front of 50 Muslim leaders that'll rock the world. President Donald Trump delivered a historic message to U.S. allies in the Middle East. Top Arab leaders from 50 majority Muslim countries, including the Saudi, Egyptian and Jordanian leaders, posed for a photo with the U.S. president on Sunday before his speech in Riyadh. Trump tells 50 Muslim leaders, "Drive out the terrorists. Drive them out. Drive them out." Trump delivered courageous and honest remarks on the fight against the terrorists. This was an amazing speech. President Trump, a better future is for you if you drive out the terrorists and drive out the extremists. Drive them out. Drive them out of your praises of worship. Drive them out of your communities. Drive them out of your holy land. And drive them out of this earth. Share this post if you are proud of President Trump. What do you think about this comment below? Another Russian email trail rocks Washington. Think about where it led? Not to President Trump, but to. The email scandal won't be on the front page of the news at this moment, however that doesn't imply that it won't be there soon. Meanwhile, we have a persistent, moderate trickle of implicating stories. It's practically just as the players in this hacked email dramatization all realize that it could loosen up with one wrecking revelation, and none needs to be the person who uncovers it. So we see this moving around the certainties as individuals who know the story endeavor to state enough to quiet down the specialists without saying excessively. A record, evidently hacked by the Russians, is the subject of Senate hearings. It guarantees that Attorney General Loretta Lynch was reached by a Democratic agent to safeguard that she ceased the investigation concerning Hillary's email embarrassment before it went too far. The concentration of current Senate hearings is on this record, which has been described as both a memo and an email, and was written by a Democratic operative who expressed confidence that Ms. Lynch would keep the Clinton investigation from going too far, according to several former officials familiar with the document, the New York Times reported. According to Breitbart, Senator Grassley noted the report from the Times, then asked FBI Director Comey, "How and when did you first learn of this document? Also, who sent it and who received it?" Comey replied with a predictable response, "That's not a question I can answer in this form, Mr. Chairman, because it would call for a classified response." When asked what steps did the FBI take to determine whether Attorney General Lynch had actually given assurances that the political fix was in no matter what and whether he could provide the email, Comey gave similar responses. So Mr. Comey gave off an impression of doing all that he can to crash the examination. He's in a hopeless scenario generally. In the event that he conceded he had the archive amid the campaign and did nothing, he's stuck in an unfortunate situation. In the event that he guaranteed he didn't, and it is later uncovered that he did, then it's conspicuous he misled Congress. It is alleged that amid the presidential campaign that Hillary expressed that Trump must be halted no matter what else, we will all hang. That might be one of only a couple of times throughout her life that she came clean. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comments section below. Share the truth, be patriots. Thank you for reading. Reading straight from President